retirees this morning.
Oh, you did?
It's good too. Pancakes afternoon. So yeah, firefighters. Got it cooked.
Oh, okay, yeah. So they ask you for anything?
They, which I applaud him for this. He just wants to get everybody familiar with them.
Is it a retired?
They want to call it. I can't hear you. Okay. Okay.
This is the regular meeting of the Mobile City Council, Tuesday, January the 6th. Please stand for our invocation led by Pastor Tony Laguerre, Public Safety Chaplain, and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Good morning, everyone. Tony Laguerre, Mobile Police Department Chaplain, good morning to you. We just want to take a moment and just say thank you for the privilege to serve our city, to serve our new mayor and his administration, our council table, and our new council men and women. We are so honored to serve you. These are just a few of our volunteer chaplains, and we just thought it would be good that you know we serve at the pleasure of our Public Safety Director, Commander Graves. We've been assigned by our city clerk, and I personally schedule our 10 volunteer chaplains to serve this council every Tuesday. We don't have an axe to grind. We don't have a particular agenda other than we come prayed up and prepared to pray for our city because we know that God looks favorably upon a righteous nation. And that is our purpose here today, and we're going to be here for you, Mr. Mayor, and your team, and we hope that you know you can call on us and we'll come running, all right? Let's pray together. Good morning. Our Father, we give thanks to you as we stand once again at the gates of our city. We humble ourselves before you and we pray that the Spirit of the Lord, Spirit of peace, would guard us, direct our thoughts, our speech, even in the moments ahead. Thank you for our leaders, particularly our new mayor and his team, and these that are serving on the council table. Father, we pray that we have your mind today, be a blessing to the community that we serve, and ultimately, Lord, give glory somehow to you. Favor us today with your presence. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. President Small,
Here.
Vice President Gregory,
Here.
Councilmember Penn,
Here.
Councilmember Ingram,
Here.
Councilmember Reynolds,
Here.
Councilmember Fleming,
Here.
Councilmember Woods.
Here.
Statement of rules.
And good morning and Happy New Year to everybody. It's good to see everybody this Tuesday morning. Welcome to our January 6, 2026 meeting. At this meeting, we do have rules. At this time, I ask if anyone have any type of electronic device, including cell phones, please at this time put on the off or the vibrate position, the off or the vibrate position. Any person that is desiring to address the Mobile City Council must sign in the resolution, the ordinance, or public hearing agenda item before entering the meeting. When addressing the council, the speaker must give his or her name. Any person that desires to speak to a council on a non-agenda item must contact the city clerk office no later than 2:00 p.m. the Thursday prior to the council meeting. The subject that he or she wishes to express to the Mobile City Council must be identified and pertain to the city of Mobile business. Anyone who has not given proper notice to the city clerk office and wishes to speak on a non-agenda item will not be allowed to address this council. Each speaker is allowed 3 minutes to address this council. A bell will indicate the end of 2 minutes. 1 minute remains for summarizing. The second bell indicates that your time has expired. When addressing this council, there will be no personal address to any individual council members. All statements are to be made to the chair who will recognize any council member who wishes to respond. To maintain decorum, there will be no undue applause or public outcry allowed. Madam Clerk.
Communications from Mayor Chirigatis.
Good morning, everybody. Happy New Year. We have to start today by saying that our prayers remain with MPD Lieutenant Lorenzo Matthews, who was shot in the line of duty this Sunday. After the shooting, two suspects were barricaded inside the home on Tuscaloosa Street, were taken into custody. Our officers responded with professionalism, discipline, and tactical restraint. They secured the area. They protected the public to make sure they were safe and out of harm's way. They were able to take two suspects who had bad intent into custody without another shot being fired by the MPD, and that's something to be very grateful for. I'm grateful to every first responder who was involved in this response. I'm very thankful for the exceptional team at the University of South Alabama's Trauma Center who gave quick and swift care to Lieutenant Matthews. He is now in stable condition. After undergoing surgery on Sunday, I was able to speak to him on Sunday. He was coherent. We prayed together, but he still needs our prayers, as does his family, and I'm asking everyone to continue to pray for them as well as the entire MPD family. The Mobile Law Enforcement Foundation is taking donations that will go straight to supporting him and his family. You can find out how to make a donation through that foundation on all of MPD's social and online platforms. Do be sure that if you want to give that way so we know it goes to the right place. On a lighter note, we had a very successful New Year's celebration. I had the fun time, fantastic time at the Moon Pie over Mobile events. I brought my family down for the earlier events that were, kid focused. My kids had a great time. We got to see the Moon Pie drop at noon, and of course, that evening at the event, we were able to cut the largest moon pie in the world, as far as I know. It drew in thousands of visitors. A lot of people came down to get their piece of the moon pie. We're still awaiting the final count, but there were big crowds, and everyone remained safe thanks to the fantastic performance of MPD. Very proactive. We had a very safe night, and I want to thank and commend MPD and Events Mobile for making that true. We had great musical performances. Councilman Penn, former Councilman Fred Richardson and I cut that moon pie, and I think we all got a piece. But we like to call Mr. Fred Richardson Mr. Moon Pie because this was something that he thought of. And I'll tell you, I don't think anybody could imagine what it has grown into. It was really a fantastic event. Events like this create a vibrant atmosphere that makes people want to visit Mobile, and it makes me excited to live here. One of my priorities is to continue to support events like this so there's always something to celebrate here in the Port City. And finally, yesterday marked the 12th night celebration and the first night of Mardi Gras. So I want to thank Braided River for helping us, the city, to officially welcome in the Mardi Gras season. The skyline is now purple and gold, and we can officially eat king cake without judgment. Lucy has me on a diet, so I have to limit my intake, but king cake for everybody. We'll also be lighting the Mardi Gras tree this Saturday, January 10th in Mardi Gras Park. The festivities begin at 5:30 with a regional brass band showcase, followed by the tree lighting at 6:20. And we'll have music downtown in Mardi Gras Park until 7 p.m. It'll be a fun, family-friendly event, and it's a great way to get ready to celebrate the Boom Boom. Thank you to our events department for yet another great community celebration. And again, thank you to MPD and all of our first responders for helping us make it a safe, happy, family-friendly event. Now it's my honor to welcome some people up here to receive proclamations. First, I'm going to ask Miss Irondale, 2025, Miss Sarah Claire Holtz, to come down as we recognize Eating Disorder Awareness Month. Let's see. And anything to say to the council?
Yes, good morning, everyone. My name is Sarah Claire Holtz. I'm a Mobile native. I've lived here my entire life, and I'm currently representing the city of Irondale at Miss Alabama this summer. So bringing a little bit of Irondale and our Mobile spirit right there on the Miss Alabama stage. I'm so excited. So eating disorders are a very taboo subject, and it's something that we tend to skip over. We don't like to talk about. And as someone who struggled with an eating disorder for 8 years and been diagnosed for 5, I've noticed the lack of education. I'm lucky enough to have people who reached out and said, hey, I think something's going on. But this is something that a lot of parents, educators, and family don't know what to look for. So there sparked my idea for Eating Disorder Education Month here in Mobile. This will be a month of us speeding out into schools, to teachers, to parents, doctors' offices, ways to understand how to approach an eating disorder, how to know what to look for, how to know that someone might be struggling. Eating disorders are the second deadliest mental illness right now, next to opioid addiction, which is very heavily a problem, as we know, and eating disorders are following that right up. It's something that 64 million Americans are struggling with right now, and I think this is something we definitely need to be addressing. That's why I strive to make moves in my service with eating disorder awareness, and I'm excited to bring that here to Mobile.
Thank you. Thank you for coming down. All right, and last but certainly not least, we have our DAR, Daughters of the American Revolution President Maureen Kennedy here, as well as other daughters here to celebrate the America's 250th anniversary of our independence, and I have a proclamation for them. Would anyone like to say something?
Good morning. I'm Maureen Kennedy, Regent of the Tristan da Luna Chapter, Daughters of the American Revolution here in Mobile. And this proclamation recognizes the importance of honoring America's founding and the sacrifice made by our patriot ancestors as we approach our nation's 250th anniversary. For DAR members, America 250 is deeply meaningful because it honors the service of the men and women of the American Revolution and the ideals they fought to secure. And over this next year, I'm sure you're going to hear a lot from us as we're going to be planning different celebrations locally. And of course, around July 4th, I'm sure there will be a lot going on to celebrate America's 250.
Certainly, and I'll present this, but I do want to say quickly, if you haven't been by the DAR house, my children and I went through there on Christmas, tore through there in my children's case. But it's a beautiful home with so much history in it, and there's always wonderful people there to explain that history and guide you through the house. So wonderful job that you're doing there, and I look forward to celebrating the 250 with you.
And I think the Christmas decorations are up till the 10th? January 12th. So now's a great time to go visit the Richards DAR house while the Christmas decorations are up.
All right, and I'll have to ask everyone's forgiveness because I've yet to read this proclamation.
Oh, no. Photographers also take a picture.
Please.
Thank you.
Wonderful. All right, well, let me read this. Proclamation from the Office of Mayor whereas on July 4th, 2026, our nation will commemorate the semi-quincentennial anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence, and whereas the journey toward this historic milestone is an opportunity to reflect on our nation's past, honor the contributions of all Americans, and look ahead to the future generations who will carry forward the ideals of democracy and individual liberty that make the United States a unique nation in the world community. And whereas the National Society of Daughters of the American Revolution, DAR, is a non-political women's service organization established in 1890, whose members are lineally descended from patriots of the American Revolution. And whereas, through the President General's leadership, all daughters are spending the next 3 years illuminating our legacy by celebrating our nation's rich history and diversity, promoting belonging through membership and dedicated service to God, home, and country, and by completing projects in unique, local, and impactful ways. And whereas the 250th anniversary of the Boston Tea Party in 2023 until the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Treaty of Paris in 2033, daughters are celebrating our nation's rich history and diversity of experience by honoring all men and women who achieved American independence. These patriots, believing in the noble cause of liberty, fought valiantly to establish a new nation. Now, therefore, I, Spiro N. Cherigatis, the 109th mayor of the city of Mobile, do hereby commend this commendation on behalf of the Tristan de Luna chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution Mobile chapter to all our Mobile, Alabama residents. I will recognize all these lovely ladies in the first few rows, many of whom kept my children from destroying the DAR house during Christmas. Thank y'all so much for what you do. And with that, my comments are concluded.
Adoption of the agenda.
So move. Second.
Properly moved and second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Agenda is adopted.
Mr. President, in accordance with the law, I shall read the annual report for the Rebuild Alabama Act. Recorded revenues totaling $1,432,727.37 in fiscal year 2025. $1,487,522.33 has been expended to date. And by resolution 09-1365 adopted October 28, 2025, the City Council for the City of Mobile adopted its annual transportation plan to expend $1,400,000 on Tiger/Broad Street.
All right. Thank you.
Appeals. We have requests for waiver of the noise ordinance on January 17th on Spring Hill Avenue, January the 30th in Mardi Gras Park.
So move.
Second.
Properly moved and second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Appeal passes.
Public hearings. Today is the public hearing to consider the vacation of an alley adjacent to 6 South Franklin Street.
This opened up the public hearing for this particular said item. Is anyone present that would like to address the council on this item? If so, you may come down to the podium by stating your name.
Good morning. My name is Mike Rogers. I'm the president of Rogers and Willard Incorporated, and I'm here today representing Lemoyne Properties and also Cheerful Credit. And so Lemoyne Properties is in the process of renovating the historic Shigazola House, which is adjacent to the alley. The Shigazola House is one of the most intact houses from the 1850s in the city, and we're undergoing a $2.5 million renovation right now of that house. That house has, for almost 100 years, been owned by the Hoffman family, and during that time, as many of you may know, there was a fire adjacent to the house, which prompted the selling of the house. Since that time, Cheerful Credit, of which Lemoyne Properties is also a member, has acquired the rest of the Hoffman property, and we presented plans to the city to begin renovation of that property. We also have here present today one of the owners of the adjacent property on Dolphin Street, Mr. Tom Townsend, who is on the north side of the alley that we're asking to be vacated. We feel like this is a really good thing for the city. Number one, we're taking a block of the city that has long been blighted. In fact, I have a copy of the survey from 1957, or the appraisal of 1957 of all the Hoffman property. And at that time, it listed the value of the Shigazola house as $2,500 and said that it was only good for salvage. So the building has been on the imperiled list since the 1970s. We feel like by vacating this alley, we will not only kind of be doing a good favor to the city by giving them, they will no longer have to maintain that alley. It also will help us with our properties, providing access, which was the original purpose of that alley. So we would ask that the city grant us this vacation. In addition, we would ask that the city not charge us a fee for doing so, or basically donate that to the betterment of this block. The Chicazola House represents a $2.5 million investment, private investment, turning basically a warehouse building back into an income-producing property that is going to be restored as a residence for public use. Also, the Chicazola, the Hoffman property will be a multi-million-dollar investment, and every little bit helps. So that's what we're asking the council to consider.
Any questions, comments from the council? Dr. Ingram?
First of all, thank you, Mr. Rogers. Thank you for your contributions and what you're doing in terms of developing our city. Thank you for all the work. My question is related to the access in terms of when you think about public services. Also, in terms of areas that have not been developed, are there any concerns in terms of access for ambulance and so forth, by us vacating that property?
I don't think so, because there's really no access. It's not a through alley. It's a dead-end alley. And so it's only 10 feet wide. And so a most likely scenario would be that any type of service vehicle would not come down the alley anyway. They would use the street.
Okay. My last question deals with are there any areas over there that have not started development yet? That have not. Right, because I know that you have a representative with you that is also a part of that development. Am I correct?
Right. They have just gone before the ARB or about to go before the ARB with their plans for renovation of that property, and I believe they are preparing to submit plans to the city for renovation of, that's the property along Dolphin Street.
Okay. So currently, the work that you're doing along with the others, does that take care of all of the vacant properties in that area where you're working?
So the block is basically owned by three different entities. So the Archdiocese of Mobile has the northeast corner, and then Cheerful Credit, of which Lemoyne Properties is a member, has basically from Conti Street to Dolphin Street, and then Tom Townsend and Buzz Jordan have another, that would be the northeast corner, and there's a vacant lot at the corner of Conti and Hamilton, which is a part of the Cheerful Credit property. There's the Cheerful Credit property consists of 7 buildings, and 2 of those are residential buildings, and we're in the process of renovating one of those buildings. We've received a demolition permit from the city to take the old added facade off and restore the one 1800s house that is there. So as far as what's vacant, there's no final plans for what's going to happen with the rest of the buildings, but I do believe that takes care of, they're all moving forward as far as some sort of renovation plan.
Okay, great, thank you.
Any other questions or comments from the
Yeah,
council?
Mr. President.
Mr. Reynolds?
The Chicazola House is an awesome property. I remember as a kid seeing it and saying, man, that's a cool property. So I'm glad to see it being restored. Is that's being restored to residential property, is that correct?
So that is Lemoyne Properties is my wife and myself are the sole owners of that basically entity, and it's a historic tax credit project which requires that it be for commercial use for 5 years. And so basically, we're in the process of developing a business plan so that it will be used as some sort, it's a residence, you know, and so there are limited uses for what can happen there, you know, according to the city rules and things like that. So but our plan is for people to be able to come there and stay there and enjoy the house.
Okay, so like a B&B or something. And the other properties, the other abutting properties, the Hoffman properties and so forth, those are planned to be commercial properties.
That's correct.
Do you know the future use of those properties? What sort of tenants that are going to be gone after, or is there a single tenant?
So ideally, it would be a boutique hotel, would be our first desire, but you know, all be driven by economics. These type of projects are extremely difficult and extremely expensive, but we do feel like this is one of the most significant undeveloped or unrestored blocks in the city. You know, it's long been kind of a dark spot along Dolphin Street, the entertainment district, and so, you know, our goal is to kind of restore it to its former glory, and we think that that would be a great use, and it sets itself up well for that.
Thank you. That's all, Mr. President.
Mr. President.
Vice President.
Mike, thanks for coming down today and sharing the information. We appreciate you and the other property owners for being willing to take on this challenge, and it is a challenge. Just a few questions really about the alleyway. What is actually going on back there now? Is it being used now, and if so, for what?
You know, it was overgrown for a long time until basically we acquired the Shigazola house. It was, you know, there were trees growing back there. There was a lot of debris. There were a lot of vagrants that had kind of taken up camp there. And so right now we've been using it for construction access. We got a temporary permit to close it off with a gate. And so it's been our access. You know, they're really tight property lines, and so it's really the best access for that property, as well as Tom's property along Dolphin Street, other than street access. So it's very important for the use of those two buildings.
So it wouldn't have, vacating this would not have any impact on other property owners nearby?
No, the only one would be Cheerful Credit, you know, which has 10 feet adjoining the alley at the end, and they're very much in favor. You know, the overall plans, once we began to figure out the use of the other buildings and possibly opening the alley back up to the property to the west, that could be an option, but we're all working together to kind of figure out what works best for the whole block.
Yeah, great. Thank you.
Mr. President.
Mr. Woods.
Thanks again for coming down and shedding some light on what's going on. Just for me, a couple questions. Obviously, you know, vacation of that property kind of basically creates or just an additional space related to that lot there. That being said, I guess the current structure is a historic structure, like you're saying, from the 1850s. I mean, it's historically protected. So nobody's, I guess, am I assuming right? I guess you can't go in there and tear the thing down, I guess.
Yeah, in fact, the city has awarded us a TIF grant for the project, which requires a facade easement. So even the front of the building cannot be changed without city approval.
Gotcha. And then right now there's controlled access. I actually parked down there last week to take the kids to go grab lunch and everything. And saw that. Right now it's controlled access. I guess future, you know, your use for it, would it remain controlled access probably, just to make sure that, again, we're not back in the same situation of a homeless camp set up down there?
Yeah, most likely what we would do would provide a see-through gate, you know, a decorative iron gate that would have access, you know, controlled access.
Gotcha. Okay, that's all my questions. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions or comments from this council? All right, thank you so much. Is anyone else who would like to address the council on this particular said item? If not, this public hearing is closed.
Public hearing to consider a vacation fee as a condition of the vacation of an alley adjacent to 6 South Franklin Street.
This opened up the public hearing for this particular said item. Is anyone present who would like to address the council on this item? If not, this public hearing is closed.
Presentation of petitions and other communications to the council.
1 second.
We'd like to take the opportunity to address the second.
Yeah.
And again, picking up where Mike left off, I work with Mike and represent the same group. And again, our ask for the city to waive the fee associated with the property. It'll go between the 3 potential owners, and we're going to take the responsibility for its upkeep. We're going to pay taxes on it. We've already put investment dollars into it. And as a good partner, we're asking that the city waive that $12,440 approximately as a gift to the project and the type of incentive that we want private investors to have to put hard-earned dollars back to work in revitalizing downtown. And that's the respectful ask of the group.
Yeah. All right.
My name is Evan Austell.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
This public hearing is closed.
Presentation of petitions and other communications to the council. Willie Dinish.
Good morning, everyone. City Council President and members of the Mobile City Council, thank you for the opportunity to be here today. My name is Willie Dinish III, and I represent the Jazz Art Writers South Festival, better known as Jaws Fest. I'm the festival co-creator and co-director, along with my co-creator and co-director, Paula Webb. And, we're here to share that Jaws Fest is a Mobile-based nonprofit dedicated to serving and advancing our city's rich jazz and cultural heritage while creating meaningful opportunities for local artists and young people. Our work is grounded in Mobile's history, but is firmly focused on the city's future through education, cultural tourism, and community engagement. One of the most impactful ways that we provide service to the city of Mobile is through Jaws Youth, our education initiative that will reach nearly 700 local Mobile, Alabama students in 2026. The artwork that you have being presented to you is some of the artwork that's been created in the past from students in the city of Mobile under the age of 18. Many of these students will be attending a live jazz performance or receiving arts-based instruction for the first time in their lives. Through curriculum-based lesson plans, classroom engagement, and live music experiences, students learn music history, literacy, and creative expression. Central to this program is the Excelsior Band, who we've been partnered with since the inception of this festival in 2022. The Excelsior Band, as you know, is a Mobile institution with more than 140 years of cultural influence, connecting students to a living legacy and helps them to build pride, identity, and a deeper connection to the city. Jaws Fest also delivers clear economic and cultural value to Mobile. The festival supports local musicians, activities, activates multiple city venues, and draws residents and visitors into our cultural corridor. Our partnership with universities, small businesses, and community organizations ensure that public funding is responsibly leveraged alongside private sponsorships and in-kind support. This approach allows every dollar invested in to extend further into the community while strengthening Mobile's creative and national cultural profile. Today, we respectfully request the City Council support to help sustain and grow Jaws Fest and Jaws Youth. Councilman Corey Penn has agreed to provide financial support to our nonprofit efforts. City funding will allow us to expand student access, fairly compensate our local artists, and ensure the culturally significance of this festival will continue and remain open and accessible to the entire community. An investment in Jaws Fest is an investment in Mobile's youth, its artists, and its cultural legacy. I thank you for your time, your leadership, and your continued commitment to the people of the city of Mobile and its future.
Mr. President,
Mr. Penn.
Thank you, Mr. Woodley, for coming down and sharing all the great things that the JAW Festival is providing our city. I had the opportunity to attend this festival, and it was just amazing to hear the music, to see the art pieces from our young people. And most people know that if you have youth that are working or participating in art, it elevates academics as well. And so I think this is a great opportunity. So I'm excited to support this initiative. And thank you so much for giving to our community as well as our city. And it also provides opportunity for youth to visit universities. I talked to one of the students and they said, this is the first time I've been on a college campus. And that's amazing. So thank you so much for that support.
Thank you, Councilman Penn.
Thank you.
Kevin Harrison.
Morning, Council. Morning, Bo. Morning, Mayor. Morning, staff. Thank you for allowing us to talk. I'm Kevin Harrison. I'm with Saint Associates. We're a civil engineering, traffic engineering firm. This is Monica Williamson. She is with South Alabama Regional Planning Commission, SARPC. SARPC was awarded federal funding for an SS4A program, Safe Streets and Roads for All. This first part of the program is a safety action plan. There's two parts to the safety action plan. One is data. There's been 71,000 crashes in Mobile County in the past 5 years. There's been 347 fatalities in Mobile County. The safety action plan is for the entire county and all of its municipalities. In the past 5 years, there's been 47,000 crashes in the city of Mobile with 137 fatalities. We're creating a safety action plan. We've got the data. We're looking at all the data. We're going to create a heat map of all the types of crashes. There's 28 different Federal Highway Administration countermeasures that we can apply to all the hot spots to come up with recommendations for the safety action plan. The second part is public involvement. And we've been hitting the road. We've been doing all these public engagement, trying to get surveys. We have a QR code, and we need your help. If you can help us put this on social media, it's a survey. It's a quick 2 or 3 minute survey. I've got an A-frame out in the atrium, so some of your constituents might ask you, what is this SS4A program? The safety action plan, the public comments will go into the prioritization of the projects. The second part is the implementation. So the recommendations that come out of this plan, there will be hopefully SS4A implementation grant available to the city of Mobile, $22 to $25 million to apply for some of these recommendations that come out of this plan. So we've met with city staff, and I'm just trying to present to you today what the SS4A program is. We're asking for your help. Spread it all over social media. We need as many of these comments as we can get. So with that, we've asked Thompson Engineering and CERM to help us with this program as well.
Mr. President.
Mr. Reynolds.
I got a question about this. Will priority be given to like urban centers, or is everybody, like we have as many crashes on Airport Boulevard and other areas in the city versus say just in downtown? Will priority be given to urban centers over say more sprawl?
There's an objective formula for prioritization. It has to deal with insurance, there's the fatalities, the type of collision, the injuries per collision. The public comments will go into the prioritization of the project. If we get 50 comments for one intersection on Airport Boulevard, well, that's going to bring up the priority than a project elsewhere.
So what I hear you down here asking us for is that there's a big pot of money that's available potentially to residents of the city of Mobile, and now's the time for the residents of the city of Mobile to identify them so that they can be addressed through some of this funding.
This is the SS4 program. We are hopeful that the Trump administration will continue the program. If so, then yes, there will be plenty of money. And this is an opportunity now for the citizens, if there's blind spots, if there's situations where there's near misses, if you know of aggressive driving, or what's more important to you, texting and driving, aggressive braking and stuff like that. That's what the survey is. That's what we need to know. There's an interactive map that allows the citizens to go on there and say, you need to look right here. This situation is going on. We have the data. we're looking at all 71,000 crashes, but we might be missing something. So what does the public think needs to make the streets safer? We want to hear from the public, and we need your all's help in doing that.
Mr. President.
You done, Mr. Reynolds?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Penn and Mr. Woods.
Thank you, Kevin, so much, and for the SS4A Safety Action Plan. We need this in our city. Can you give a PDF to our clerk, or get an email?
I just gave her a pile of these, and so I can certainly share it with each member's social media person as well. It is a QR code that goes to. There's a paper survey. This is the actual survey here. The paper survey doesn't do it justice because it doesn't have the interactive map. You can go on the map and pinpoint a location and say, this spot right here has got a blind spot, or there's a curve that needs to be, there's a lot of near misses right there.
Yeah, so if we get that digital copy, we can send it in our newsletters as well as post it on social media.
Yes.
So we just need to get an email to our clerk office so we can post it in our individual council newsletters.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Kev.
That'd be great. Thank you.
A quick question for you. I always say that Mobile comes home to District 6, so traffic is a big issue, especially in the mornings and in the evenings. And so I guess, and obviously there's stipulations and attachments and things you can and can't do with the big pot of money, staying in the vein of Mr. Reynolds there. This big pot of money, does this look like is this an infrastructure grant, or is this more enforcement where it's going to pay for overtime for officers to do more patrol, or is it just strictly coming up with an education program?
So what South Alabama Regional Planning Commission has been awarded is the first part, the Safety Action Plan. That will produce recommendations. They could be systemic. They could be lighting. They could be speed limits. They could be an overall, or they could be one of 28 different federal countermeasures. A roundabout is one. Dual lefts, extending the right turn lane. There's 28 different countermeasures. That if there's a project to be applied for in the next phase, it has to be identified in that plan. It has to come from that plan. So that's the process of it. We're hopeful that the Trump administration will keep this implementation grant going, but that's just not the only funding program. There are other federal funding or other programs that these projects will benefit from being identified and prioritized to the city of Mobile, to all the municipalities in Mobile County.
And then there's no, if infrastructure investments, the determination, there's no limitation on, is this a state thoroughfare, is this a main corridor? I mean, is there any, outside of neighborhoods, I'm assuming, neighborhoods wouldn't really be applicable to this, but, there's no limitations of.
Well, at this point, interstates are excluded.
Awesome. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments from this council?
Yes, Mr. President.
Vice.
Thank you, Kevin, for coming down. We appreciate it. Anytime somebody says there's money available, our, ears perk up. Just piggybacking a little bit on what some of my colleagues have mentioned, the implementation and how that would be done, and of course, the priority of what these projects would be and how they're determined is something that, I'm sure we are all interested in, whether it's crashes or whether it's just bad traffic tie-ups. I mean, are y'all looking at all of that?
We're looking at everything that goes into the care system. When there's a crash, the police department puts it into the e-care system, and we've got all that data. It's hundreds of thousands of points. So we're looking at not just the vehicular crashes, but we've got pedestrian and bicycle data as well. And there are pedestrian and bicycle countermeasures that are approved by the Federal Highway that can be funded eventually with this implementation grant. But it's got to be identified in the Safety Action Plan, and it requires these public input surveys that we're asking y'all to help us produce.
And when those priorities are put into place, who is doing that? Y'all are adding up all of the points or the totals or whatever and putting them in a list? Is that what you all will do?
Correct. We have a stakeholder group of about 30 people. A lot of folks from the engineering. Curtis Graves is on there. We met with Lieutenant Engel. So they're the stakeholders. They're part of the stakeholder group, and they'll be provided the information and be part of the prioritization process.
And then hopefully out of that list, then we will see some projects being generated and implemented in the future.
The Safety Action Plan will produce a list of projects prioritized kind of a safety ratio. Here's what can be expected to save.
Right.
It's the next part, the implementation grant. We're still a little unsure about the Trump administration. If they continue to fund this program, the implementation grant will be ready next year. But those projects have to come from this plan.
Yeah, at least you will have the plan and the priorities already settled, and then if the money hopefully is still available, then we can move forward on that part of it.
Correct. And we'll have the safety action plan, Thompson Engineering, Janet Terry, with Thompson, we'll be doing the road safety assessments.
Okay.
So as these projects, these recommendations, Thompson will go out into the field, make sure that the infrastructure is right, the utilities, making sure that everything is ready to go. That's good data for a project to be funded out of any funding category.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Anyone else?
Thank you, Mr. President. Kevin, again, thank you for being here. 2 follow-up questions. You stated that when you all go out, that if there's an infrastructure issue, you identify those. Are you allowed to use the implementation funds to address the infrastructure issues, or?
Yes, if you mean like the utilities relocation, yes.
Okay. And then my next question, what is the timeline in terms of the survey gathering the data from the citizens?
So we would like for the next month to be a public involvement campaign, social media campaign. We've got the A-frame out front. I'll be presenting to the county commission next week doing the same thing because it is for Mobile County and all of its municipalities. So about a month, but the safety action plan really takes about a year because it is a lot of data. There are 11 entities, the Mobile County and the municipalities. Each one of y'all will have to adopt this plan. So there's some policy that's going to have to be done. So it does take a while to get that done, and we're expecting it to be done with just under a year.
And my last question, the data that you're collecting, how will you communicate that data back to us so that we can see what our hot spots are and issues that we're facing?
So the safety action plan will have hot spots. The state of Alabama does not allow us to publish a document that has where the actual crash located. Other states are different. Mississippi and Florida, their safety action plans will actually have a map of dots saying the types of crashes. You know, this crash happened here. State of Alabama Department of Transportation does not allow that. So what will be in the safety action plan will be hot spots to the extent of that we are allowed to publish it in Alabama.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, thank you so
Thank you so much.
Paul Underdock.
On the dock, present. All right, Madam Clerk.
Reggie Hill.
Mr. Hill, present. All right, Madam Clerk.
Ordinance is held over. 64058, consider an ordinance to amend Appendix A, Downtown Development District of the City of Mobile Unified Development Code, Chapter 64, the Mobile City Code 2022.
Move to lay over for 2 weeks.
Second. Properly moving second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Item laid over for 2 weeks.
64062, consider the modification of a previously approved planning approval for property located at 348 and 360 North McGregor Avenue.
So moved.
Second.
Properly moving second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ordinance passed.
CIP resolutions held over 09-1577, reallocate funds from 2025 CIP Project Carlisle Ditch Drainage Repairs to Capital Project Langham Park 12 Mile Creek Bank Stabilization. 13-1578, authorize change order number 1 with James H. Adams and Sons Construction Company for erosion mitigation at Azalea City Golf Course and 12 Mile Creek. 21-1579, authorized contract with C. Thornton, Inc. for 2025 CIP at Slava Creek, Lynn Avenue to Mont Lamar.
So moved.
Second.
Properly moving second, any discussion?
Yes, sir, Mr. President.
Vice President?
09-1577, reallocating some CIP funds from the Carlisle ditch drainage repairs. We are moving some of that money over to Langen Park, 12 Mile Creek to work on stabilization of the bank there. And to just explain why we're doing this year, we are simply doing the design work for the Carlisle ditch repairs, and the money is in the budget for not only the design, but also for construction. We will not be doing construction this year. So we are taking a portion of that money going to Langen Park for the immediate needs that are there. We will do the design work this year on the drainage ditch in Carlisle, and then in the next budget, we will do the construction on the Carlisle ditch drainage repairs. So we're able to move ahead with both of these projects. Just want everybody to understand that that project in Carlisle is definitely ongoing, but we would not do the construction this year anyway.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Item passes.
Resolutions held over. 08-1549, approved purchase order to Athletic and Sports Systems for prefabricated dasher board system Mobile Arena. 01-1580, authorized amendment to agreement with BFI Waste Services, doing business as Republic Services of Mobile for compactor garbage container rental and service. 08-1581, approved item-based bid for running shoe fitting and products. 08-1588, approved purchase order to Stuns for annual renewal of Monday.com project management software. 37-1590, consider the application of Ray Jones for a certificate of public convenience and necessity to operate a taxi cab service. 60-1591, authorized settlement agreement and release of claims.
So moved.
Second.
Properly moving second. Any discussion?
Mr. President.
Mr. Woods.
I pointed out, and we had an explanation provided at pre-council, but I just want to again point it out. This 081549 and later on down the line of our agenda, there's items that are associated with FF&E for the Civic Center. And you know, over the course of the week, this is hit a couple times, whether it's Facebook or news media. These aren't just items, and I want to just add clarity. These aren't just items that, oh, well, we're building the Civic Center, let's put this in there, we need this. This is all part of the master plan that was decided of how the Civic Center is going to be built. So this is pre-planned items that are lumped into the total cost. So these aren't just additional items that are being added on, and this isn't increasing the budget whatsoever of the Civic Center. So I just wanted to kind of provide some clarity to those items. And these aren't the last items we're going to see for FF&E, as these are coming across. And just want to kind of add some clarity to that. Thank you.
Any other discussion?
Mr. President.
Vice President.
Councilman Woods had pointed out during our pre-conference meeting on 01-1580, the amendment to an agreement with BFI Waste Services is for downtown. It has nothing to do with any of the newly annexed areas.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Resolution passes.
Consent resolutions being introduced. 03001 through 37020.
Move to waive the rules for immediate consideration of these resolutions as read.
Second.
Properly moving second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Rules waived. Madam Clerk.
03001, reappoint Brenda Rhodes, John Peavy, and appoint Art Walsh, Mitch Rencher, Molly Middleton to the Mobile Tennis Center Advisory Board. 40002, correct resolutions 40, 826, 827, 828, and 829, adopted on June the 17th, 2025. 60003 through 006 are determining appropriations to Mobile Alumni Chapter Kappa Alpha Psi, Big Brothers Big Sisters of the Central Gulf Coast, the courtyards at Magnolia Grove Property Owners Association, and the Showers Foundation serve a public purpose and approve payment. 03018, reappoint Norman Hill to the Golf Course Advisory Committee. 60019, determine an appropriation to People United to Advance the Dream, serves a public purpose and approve payment. 37020, recommend approval to the ABC Board for issuance of a lounge retail liquor Class 1 license to Club Elegance.
So moved.
Second.
Properly moving second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Consent passes.
Resolutions being introduced. 08007 through 47014.
Move to waive the rules for immediate consideration of Resolution 08-008, with the other resolutions being laid over for 1 week.
Second.
Properly moving second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Rules waived. Madam Clerk.
08008, approved purchase order to Alabama Pipe and Supply for concrete pipe for Lions Park.
So moved.
Second.
Properly moving second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Resolution passed.
Call for public hearings. 41015, call for public hearing to consider the modification of a previously approved planned unit development for property located at 1800 Dolphin Island Parkway, scheduled February 10th. 41016, call for public hearing to consider the modification of a previously approved planning approval for property located at 4568 Halls Mill Road, scheduled February 10th. 41017, call for public hearing to consider the modification of a previously approved planned unit development for property located at 4568 Halls Mill Road, scheduled February 10th.
So moved.
Second.
Properly moving second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All
Aye.
opposed? All opposed? Public hearing is called.
Announcements.
District 2, Councilwoman Ingram.
Whoa, Mr. President. My first announcement, I just want to thank the committee for the Moon Pie Drop. Great work. Also to the staff that supported that. It was an awesome event, and just thank you. The other thank you would be for District 2 for completing the survey so that we can prioritize our needs for District 2. Thank you for your participation, and you can look forward to seeing those results in the next 2 weeks. I also want to share some upcoming events. The first one is Stand Up Mobile, that's happening in District 2, their 5th anniversary celebration on January the 9th at 5:30, and it's going to be at the historical Central High auditorium for Pathways School. This is an opportunity for the citizens to come out, get informed, and be empowered and support community improvements. The second event that I would like to bring to the attention of District 2 citizens, we would love for them to join us for our first virtual chat. It's our first monthly virtual chat, and it's going to be, it starts on Thursday, January the 8th at 7 p.m., and you can go to my Facebook for more details in terms of the link and how to log in. And again, thank you, District 2, for completing that survey, and I look forward to getting those results out to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Ingram. District 5, Councilman Fleming.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just would really like to send out some thoughts and prayers to Lieutenant Matthews and his family. And a thank you to our first responders and our MPD for how they handled the situation this past weekend. So if you feel so compelled, please continue to keep his family and his recovery in your thoughts and prayers, and anything you can do to help donate, I think that would go a long way. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Fleming. District 4, Councilman Reynolds. District 1, Councilman Penn.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to join in with my colleagues in praying for Lieutenant Matthews and the MPD family and his family as well. Our first responders just did an amazing job in that particular situation. So let's just lift them up at this time. This was a busy weekend, and so we just really realize how much sometimes we need our MPD as well as first responders. So again, we are praying for the family. I also would like to give a big shout out to the Moon Pie over Mobile board. Our president, Shonda Smith, did an amazing job, and the whole board planned events from that morning. Like our mayor stated, we was out there early in the morning for the kids zone. We had inflatables, arts and craft, and so much fun, food trucks, and then they had the opportunity to experience the Moon Pie Drop as well. And then we celebrated with the largest moon pie in the world that's edible. And so we had a great time celebrating Morris Day and the time, and all the other great artists as well. So thank you to Mobile for coming out. I met a couple while I was there from New Orleans, and they came on the Amtrak. And they said they came down to celebrate and experience Mobile, and they're planning on coming back for Mardi Gras because they say New Orleans only throw beads. Well, in Mobile, we throw moon pies, candy, TVs. You don't know what you might catch at the Mobile parade. So we're inviting everyone to come out soon and celebrate. Also, we will have event on January the 19th. It's called Cut the Violence. I'm part of one of the many of the sponsors of this event. Guest speaker would be Young Jock, but they will have barbers there, and the opportunity is to engage our young people, talk to them, and whatever we can to support them and hear from them. A lot of times we try to come up with strategies, but this is the opportunity to hear from our young people and get strategies from them. That's all I have, and hopefully everyone had a great New Year. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilman Penn. District 6, Councilman Woods.
Thank you, Mr. President. Want to say thank you, offer some thanks to Public Works Director Matt Anderson and his team. Had an issue yesterday that with a manhole, pretty weird situation. Don't know where the manhole cover went, but again, they instantly responded, corrected the situation, and made it a safe area once again. But thank you for that. Their quick response to address that really meant a lot, and thank you. That I greatly appreciate that. Also, too, I do want to offer and say that our thoughts and prayers of the Woods House are definitely with Lieutenant Matthews and his family at this time. At the Southwest Chamber last year, I had the opportunity each and every month to present the Officer of the Month and the Deputy of the Month with a token of appreciation and thanks. And I always closed that with saying that, and I do really mean it, that officers and firefighters are there on our very worst day, and that's their typical day. So I definitely hit home with the news of what occurred on Sunday, and just want to say that again, our thoughts and prayers are with Lieutenant Matthews, and I want to say thank you to Mobile Law Enforcement Foundation because that offering the opportunity to have a vehicle to provide for that family or help provide for that family again in their worst of days really means a lot. This is an opportunity for our community to step up and do something meaningful to show appreciation. So again, thoughts and prayers are with Lieutenant Matthews, and again, thank you to our public safety members and our team members on there, whether it's PD and Mobile Fire Rescue. I know sometimes throughout the course of a week it becomes mundane of doing your job, but you know, I appreciate the fact that any given time that you're there to respond to our community. So thank you, and again, praying for Lieutenant Matthews and his family. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Woods. District 7, Vice President Gregory.
Thank you, Mr. President. I too join with my colleagues in asking everyone to lift up the Matthews family and our MPD family as they continue to deal with the aftermath of the shooting. As you all know, I'm sure Lieutenant Matthews had just gone to check on a call and was shot right there in the line of duty. So if you feel compelled, those donations through the Mobile Law Enforcement Association will go to his family to help them through this. So again, if you would just lift the family of the Matthews family and our MPD professionals up in prayer. I was on my way heading west from church, and we passed at least 6, maybe 7 MPD cruisers heading to the site. Knew immediately something was certainly up in town. And when we found out what it was, I mean, it's always a shock when one of our own is shot like that. So just, again, the professional members of our MPD are second to none. Thank you to Chief Jackson for being on the scene so quickly, to the district attorney, Keith Blackwood, who was also there. And of course, our medical center, USA Medical Center with their trauma center there, just second to none. So a terrible thing happened, but we are just blessed that it was not any worse than it was, and that Lieutenant Matthews appears to be in stable condition and should, at this point, as we are told, survive this. Of course, surviving being shot is easier said than done. I'm sure it will take him a long time to be able to get over this, but thank you to everyone who has been involved. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice President. And to the citizens of District 3, again, Happy New Year. And I'd like to join my colleagues and thank the Moon Power Over Mobile Board for a tremendous, successful event on last Wednesday evening. Great time was had, good weather, and we just couldn't ask for anything else better. Again, thanks to the board, also to the first responders, and also to the city workers that had worked the event on last Wednesday. A great time was had. And also, I do extend my prayers to the Lieutenant Matthews family, himself, and also to the our first responder, the police department, because we know that they are family, and it can happen anytime, anywhere. But just one thing we do, if we can just pray and watch God change things. You pray for me, I pray for you, and watch God change things. Anything from the administration? All right.
Motion to adjourn.
Move is in second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?